Hey, everybody, welcome to Bearded Baker Banter, the sports podcast that always talks about sports. Welcome, Trent. Welcome, Trey. Back in action this week.
That's right. Back in action after a little hiatus. I miss talking to you guys. I miss going back and forth, giving each other some crap, you know what I mean?
But yeah, I mean, I kind of enjoyed it, not being around you. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding.
Notice he's always the one that's, like, mean.
Yeah, right? He's like
every time. Remember, it's like, oh, I didn't miss you, Trey. Remember?
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
He's a bully and then plays it off as like,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, just kidding.
I'm sorry.
I'll give you a big wedgie, but then I'll just pet you on the head.
Yeah.
Big. What are we giving swirlies next time?
I don't know. You're the bully. You're the one. You tell us.
Do you guys know anyone that ever got a swirly?
No.
I think I had a friend actually like purposely get one, like just to say he got a swirly.
I was gonna say, I feel like a swirly is like a made up thing. Like I feel like it was like an idea, but no one's ever actually given swirlies.
Well, I knew a friend that actually lost a hand in a whirlpool hot tub.
Oh gosh!
I'm just kidding.
Trey, he used to tell me that. So I'd be afraid of our parents' jacuzzi tub.
Oh yeah, you were afraid of that thing.
Oh
that
yeah,
was my fault. Because I told him about that friend.
He told me that. Yeah, okay, cruel.
Tyler.
Guess we're not talking about sports tonight. We're going to talk about traumatizing events to my childhood. Jeez.
All right. Well, yeah. No, let's get into it here. We got a lot of sports to talk about here, but we are actually going to do kind of a little mid-season checkup. Especially on the NFL. We're going to also highlight some of our updated playoff teams here for the college football playoff, which, correct me if I'm wrong, next year it goes to 12?
Yes, 12. Yes.
12? Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. Not 8, right? 12.
12.
Okay. So we are going to update our stuff with that. You know, we'll talk about some upcoming games here. We won't recap a ton from this past week, but we'll really kind of get moving here. So let's get us going here. All right, I know, Trey, you had mentioned, too, about possibly giving out some mid-season awards here in terms of MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, biggest surprise, disappointment. And then if we have some time here, we can also talk some rookie stuff, too. So do you want to get us going there with, I don't know where you want to start.
Let's start with Coach of the Year.
Okay, Coach of the Year.
All right. I think for me, I had it between a couple guys, but the more I thought about it, I think it was a clear-cut person in my opinion. I'm a big fan of him. I love his sense of humor, and I hope he continues to be successful, and that's Mike McDaniels for the Miami Dolphins. I think what he's doing over there he's running an offense that no one can really defend. Really, it's almost like a college fun style. I would say it's similar to the Chiefs, if anything.
I mean, they did run it in San Fran the last couple of years, but
yeah. Well, I think it's a little different than San Fran, especially this year. But no, I would just say that with all the weapons they have, he's really utilizing everyone to their maximum possibility. Running just Tyreek Hill in open space, just using his speed. Two is getting the ball out well enough, and he's not getting injured, which is huge. But I just think he's got a good thing going down there in Miami, and I'll be the first to admit that I was wrong. I projected them to be abysmal.
Yeah, added an extra L there.
Yeah, it's all right. It happens.
Trey, I don't. I'm not going to bully. I'm going to say it's okay that you messed up your words there. It's totally acceptable.
Thanks, Trey.
So sorry about Tyler laughing.
Abysmal performance over there, Trey. Abysmal.
No, but yeah, I was wrong on him. I think they got something good there in Miami. A lot of it is due to their head coach, so I go with him for Coach of the Year.
All right, Trent, you on the same boat as that?
As who?
It's Trent.
As McDaniel?
Yeah.
No, I'm not on the same boat as him.
Oh wait,
you guys usually copy each other's picks. So I just figured.
Oh, Trey, green is not Tyler's color. Sorry, great minds think alike.
But I did enjoy my Washington beer bet from last week, though. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah. That was kind of like it was going to happen. We like a little camaraderie. But no, I'm not going to lie. I have like a pick that I absolutely think is going to take it. But then I also think this guy deserves to be up there at the very top. But I'm going to go, my winner for Coach of the Year is Dan Campbell.
Ooh, okay.
Dan Campbell Alliance. And, I mean, you guys know preseason leading into it, I was all about him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now that we see he's got the potential, I mean that division is theirs. I mean, if they don't win that division, then something like really, really bad has gone wrong.
Oh yeah.
I mean, something like abysmal. But no, I really, I'm all about his mentality, his philosophy, and I love the culture that he's built up there. But I think their style of football has a chance to make a run in the postseason. They run the ball well. They sprinkle it in with the pass. They have a good tight end. They've got a defense that is just getting better and better. So that's the type of football that you want to play in the playoffs, especially a team that can control the clock with the run game. And you're going to get Montgomery back, and now you were given a couple weeks with Montgomery out, with Gibbs out.
I think he's back full practice too, Montgomery.
He is. He is.
So Trent, it sounds like your Coach of the Year is based off of a projection that they're gonna finish the year strong and really.
Well, no,
isn't that what all these picks are?
No, to me, it's a mid-season assessment. Who is the Coach of the Year?
But you can make the argument against McDaniel that he hasn't beaten a team that's over 500.
Thank you.
Well, I was going to say, it's tough to do. It's the NFL. It's a tough league. At least he's beating the teams he's supposed to beat.
Okay, so then Dan Campbell has beaten teams that he's not supposed to beat and the ones he's supposed to beat. So, I mean, he opened up the season by going a fake punt against the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City and stealing a win.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to talk about projections, listen to yourself. Is the Dolphins have a tough schedule coming up. Dan Campbell gets another game versus the Packers. Gimme a couple games versus the Bears. Gimme.
That was a shot.
Yeah. Now we're just getting personal.
And now you got the Vikings without Kirk Cousins. Gimme. So yeah, I'm going Dan Campbell, but I will say put some respect on D'Amico Ryan.
Yeah, I don't think this is his year. I think he's still got work to do, but I do like both guys you picked there. I think another name that can be floated out there is John Harbaugh with the Ravens, because I really think the Ravens are a pretty dangerous team because nobody's talking about them.
Super Bowl bound.
But I'm saying, nobody's talking about them. They have a very tough defense. Their run game's doing all right. Lamar's playing well enough to, keep them in games and win games. I mean, it is going to come down to Lamar's health, I think, eventually, because I feel like that every year is what happens, at least the last 2-3 seasons. But I think John Harbaugh, I mean, he's consistent. I mean, they're 7-2 right now as the Ravens are, and I don't know if anybody's not talking about him because maybe they started a little bit slow. I think it was, they lost to the Steelers in like a 13-10 game early. Right, but I'm saying I don't know if that kind of put people a little off on the Ravens, but I do think they're a pretty dangerous team because they have shown to be able to get going quickly, and they have a pretty scary defense. So I think John Harbaugh is one of my picks as well. So I'm not saying, and again, I really like, I think all three of them, have an opportunity to really kind of win that award. So, but yeah.
Interesting. I was really expecting a Nick Sirianni.
I'll be honest with you. I just can't stand Sirianni.
Yeah, me neither.
Like it's the smug demeanor that he has. Like, there's so many times where I want to like him because he is like such a fighter for his team, but he just pisses me off, to be honest with you. And I can't. And his team's good. I don't think it's necessarily his coaching. I think he has a lot of talent. So. But and I will say this: it is impressive that they are able to go, I believe 7-1 right now. 8-1.
The Eagles are 8-1.
8-1. So they're 8-1 with two new coordinators. So I will say in that case, it is impressive. But I don't think he's coach of the year because I feel like that was an expectation of the Eagles was to be very good again. So I kind of look at coach of the year as guys that can kind of step up and surprise you a little bit. But. All right. What do we want to do? We want to go offensive, defensive player of the year?
Yep, let's do that. Offensive player of the year.
Okay, Trey, why don't you get us going again?
All right. Well, I'm probably going to take most of your guys' picks. I know probably yours, Tyler, but really his touchdown streak is incredible. He's leading the league in, I think, rushing yards. So it's got to be Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of like the backbone of that offense. They kind of go as he goes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, even sometimes when he does continue a streak, they haven't been winning games. But still, overall, I think he's the biggest offensive contributor in the league, and he's the most consistent offensive contributor in the league. So,
yeah.
I do have a little bit of a dark horse, though. An honorable mention. Well, I'll save that for later, actually. I'll save it for later.
Okay, save that for later. Trent, you want to go with your offensive player of the year?
Yeah, and I mean, Ty, you can also start us on some of these so we don't take any of yours.
Mm-hmm.
But I got offensive player of the year. I have Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's over 1,000 yards
halfway through the season.
If you guys actually run the tape, we joked about him not watching film, but I also mentioned in that same episode that he was predicting a 2,000-yard receiving year.
Yeah.
And he is clearly on pace for that. I know things as the season progresses, weather gets worse, injuries start to happen, but Tyreek Hill is, I mean, I just, to me, he's offensive player of the year, and in a year where I don't think there's a quarterback clearly defining or definitively taking MVP. I think Tyreek Hill's in that discussion this year.
Yeah, that's a good pick too. When I actually saw the stat that he was going to hit 1,000, I think it was in week 8. I was like, that's got to be off. But like, yeah, he's incredible. Not a huge fan of him, but he's an incredible receiver. His speed is unlike anything we've really seen. I mean, you could put his speed similar to, I think we had mentioned it before, like a Dante Hall from the Chiefs, a returner back in the day, but much more of a skilled receiver as well. You know, Dante Hall was a great returner, not a great receiver. But yeah, it's kind of unmatched. I'm actually on board with Trey. I do think that McCaffrey is the heart and soul of that offense. Sometimes not always, for the best option, because I feel like sometimes he's the only guy that's actually able to score sometimes. So a little frustrating in that sense. I mean, I'll be interested to see when Trent Williams comes back. I don't think he's going to be playing this week. It kind of sounds like he's still out with a high ankle sprain. So this would be week 4, I think, that he would actually be out. So I don't know. I'm kind of one of those people, especially with a guy like Trent Williams, who's the heart and soul of your offensive line. Get him healthy. Don't come back too soon, especially with a high ankle sprain. Let the guy get healthy. Let's try to survive a little bit here. Put one on Jacksonville, but I'm on McCaffrey with that. So, let's switch to defense here, if you guys don't mind. I'll go first with this one. When you look at some of these awards and stuff, especially at the end of the year, it is tough to say, like, do you pick teams that win? Do you pick teams that are successful in the end? I have it actually down to 2 guys. At this point in time, it's hard to argue anything against T.J. Watt from the Steelers. But I also really like my guy, Fred Warner. Fred Warner is now number 2 overall in tackles for San Fran franchise history. So, but I'm right now. I don't think you can make the argument against T.J. Watt. I think he's kind of unmatched. But,
unmatched.
Tyler, are you married to Marge? You're quite the homer.
Oh man!
Well, I said T.J. Watt. I can't stand the Steelers. So.
But Fred Warner, man, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a stretch. That's
a bit.
Okay, you're ignoring what I actually said. I actually said T.J. Watt, but I said Fred Warner's a guy to keep an eye on.
But to put him up there against other names out there, like, I'm just going to jump right in there.
Fred Warner's the best linebacker in football right now. Inside linebacker.
Okay, and I'm going to sit there and say Max Crosby might be one of the best edge rushers. And you call me Bart or whatever, Lisa, whatever all those Simpson characters are there. But give me Max Crosby. Max Crosby is changing games. Now, don't get me wrong. I get it. 4-5 Raiders team, Steelers are what, 5-3, 5-4. Okay, we're right there at the same record as them. But nobody in the NFL right now has more pressures, than Max Crosby. And, one thing that stands out to him, and I hope to God, I'm going to knock on wood as I say this, is the guy just plays, like doesn't come off the field. Last game when they beat the Giants, played every single snap on defense. That's unheard of. And the way he plays, especially with running plays down, so it's like I'm gonna give some love to my home team, because you know what, I'm very realistic about them, in the sense that there's not really good expectations or high expectations going into the season. Actually, right now, the fact that we're 4-5, it's a little bit of like, what the heck.
Might not be a bad thing. I think you actually, at this rate, you might actually be able to get Caleb Williams even at a 12 pick.
Well, I don't think that, but I'm looking at our team total wins was like 4.5.
Yeah.
So it's like we're already at 4, and that blows my mind. But I'm going Max Crosby, defensive player. He actually, I don't know if you saw the breaking news tonight, but at the halfway point of the season, Max Crosby on Fox Sports was voted the defensive player of the year so far.
Okay.
At the halfway point.
All right. No, and not, like I said, I really think at this point in time, there's obviously going to be several picks. I think that's a good pick as well, because Crosby is a beast, and he's very fun to watch.
I'll tell you the guy that neither of you have mentioned yet, and it's quite a surprise to me, is a guy that is just so dominant. No, like, 2 people can't stop him.
You gonna bring up Jordan Love again, Trey? Jeez.
No. Oh my God, get out of here. No, it's Myles Garrett for the Browns.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
He is unbelievable. Watch it. He's just playing with people out there.
Yeah.
People are giving their absolute all, and he just throws them aside like a little baby doll. So,
a little baby doll.
A little baby doll.
Not a rag doll, a little baby doll.
He is head and shoulders more physically capable of everyone else on the field. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that's my pick for defensive player of the year is Myles Garrett.
Dude shredded too, man. Like,
oh my God,
not many people that can stop him.
He should be studied.
He's speed, strength, and it's crazy too, because he's that good too. I think the other guys on the Browns defensive line get a lot of the stats in games because everybody's going after Garrett too. Browns defense. I mean, let's be honest though. Jim Schwartz is a defensive coordinator guru. When he was with Philly, I love studying his tape. I love watching what he did with guys, and he's the same. He's the same. Like he is, and I hope that he gets some respect in the sense of people start to recognize that. Listen, Browns are the Browns has always been the saying, but like he's got that defense playing out of their minds.
Yeah,
that's a tough team.
It sure does. Sure does.
And to be able to win 2 games with PJ Walker.
Yeah.
Because your defense is keeping you in the games is like...
And no Nick Chubb.
Right. So, very, very interesting stuff. But, yeah, so that's defensive stuff. You guys want to jump to MVP, and then we'll do surprise and disappointment?
Yeah, let's do MVP.
All right, MVP. Oh, gosh, I hate this because I feel like it is like the quarterback award. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it absolutely is.
I mean, at this point in time, too, because... Even all the top guys, it's like, oh yeah, top guys, it's this. I mean,
I'll start.
Go ahead, start it.
I'll start. Well, I would say, even though I said Tyreek Hill should be in the running for MVP, I also did agree with your guys' is Christian McCaffrey of potentially getting the MVP this year.
Yeah.
I mean, on base to score a touchdown every game as a running back, you kind of deserve it, in my opinion. Especially when there's no quarterback that's going head and shoulders above like the entirety of the league. But if it's going to continue to be a quarterback award, I am going with Jalen Hurts as the MVP. I think if you continue to lead your team to maybe a 2, even 3 loss season.
Yeah.
The way he's playing running the ball, the way he's playing passing the ball. I know he's had an issue with some with some interceptions early on here this year. But if we're going quarterback, I'm going Jalen Hurts.
Yep. I agree. It is a quarterback award for sure. With that being said, I think the person that's just going to put up the best numbers as a quarterback in general and still be successful with their team and their season, and that's why I'm going with Tua as the MVP.
Whoa, it's like a whole.
Wow.
This is a whole different Trey.
Yeah, I mean, they proved me wrong. I mean, dude, they're electric.
Trey's fin it to win it.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
No, but I just think that his numbers, him and Tyreek have a connection, and then he has Jalen Waddle, a great running game to complement the passing game too. And like I said, their coach just knows how to use every single person in that offense. So, I think he's thriving right now in that system, and I think he'll continue to thrive and put up some pretty big numbers. That's why I'm going with Tua.
So there's actually on DraftKings there's 3 quarterbacks that are tied with the same odds at plus 350. One of them's Jalen Hurts. The other one's Lamar Jackson, and then also Patrick Mahomes. And I don't know. I'm still baffled that Patrick Mahomes is still actually that low of odds. Like I don't think. I mean, he's winning, sure.
Are you though?
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm baffled because I think it's absurd.
I think the Lamar Jackson thing's kind of absurd. Like,
yeah, but it's the same thing. They're the darlings of the NFL. And
numbers?
When you're the darling of the NFL, it's like you can't do anything wrong. You watch Patrick Mahomes any game, he can't do a single thing wrong. And you watch other quarterbacks that do the same moves and the same things and the same reads, and it's like, well, I don't know if he should have made that throw. It's absurd. It frustrates the heck out of me. I'm more again because I feel like it's a quarterback thing. I think Jalen Hurts. Another guy though to kind of keep an eye on too is also from the Eagles is AJ Brown's putting up some serious numbers to kind of keep an eye on too. I know Tyreek Hill has obviously better numbers, but AJ Brown's been putting up some big numbers lately too. So I'd love to see McCaffrey get it, but again, it's a quarterback award. I don't see it going to a running back here. I mean, he is the only skill guy in the top 12 that's not a quarterback.
That's unreal.
No, I lied. Him and Tyreek Hill are the only 2 skill guys in the top 12.
Okay.
So, all right, let's go. Biggest surprise, biggest disappointment here.
Before we move on to those, just want to. I think we can kind of agree on. We don't have to defensive rookie of the year, but would you guys say the consensus for offensive rookie of the year is C.J. Stroud?
Yeah.
Yeah, hard to disagree with it. I mean, he's putting up some crazy numbers. Yeah. I honestly though, and I go back to who I had said offensive rookie of the year. I don't think Artie Smith is using Bijan Robinson like he should be using him. Yeah. I like him as a guy, like as a person, Artie Smith. But like, what the hell are you doing? You have a lot of offensive weapons, and you're not doing shit with it.
The only thing that I would say is when you see something like this typically happen with a really big time stud running back, is it's got to be a playbook thing. It's got to be a playbook issue with him either not knowing it or he's not able to execute in protection.
So does Kyle Pitts not know the playbook either?
I mean, I get you. I'm hearing you. I just think that is a lack of a quarterback. But I don't know. I mean, I'm with you on that, Ty. But I mean, I think Robinson's numbers for Rookie of the Year, I think that's gone. Like that's not going to happen.
No,
it's totally right now C.J. Stroud's to lose.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to kind of segue us here because that's my surprise. C.J. Stroud I got it completely wrong. So you can run those tapes and listen to that. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. I didn't think he would be doing what he's doing. I think we all had the fear of the Ohio State quarterback reputation in the NFL.
Don't sell on him right now, or don't buy on him right now because
I am right now. We're halfway. How can you not? How can you not buy in on him right now?
Everybody bought on Justin Fields after year 1 too.
I would say that. I would not say that, Ty. Come on.
Justin Fields wasn't throwing for 400 and 300 yards every week.
Thank
He
you.
was running for 300 yards.
And
no turnovers either.
That's what I was going to say. And the lack of turnovers. But, guys, can we just put into perspective that C.J. Stroud has already thrown more touchdown passes than Kenny Pickett?
I know.
Like, in his career?
Yep.
Like, I'm sure the Steelers fans.
In the career.
Yeah, in his career.
In the career so far. So
I think it's 14. I think it's 14 to 13.
Hey, that's more, right? So
I know that.
my surprise is C.J. Stroud doing what he's doing down there with the Texans. But even at the halfway point, for the Texans to be 4-4, that to me is a surprise. I didn't see that happening. I thought they were going to get another high pick. So it's actually, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think they're going to do anything. I don't think they're going to get in the playoffs as a wild card or anything in the AFC. But it's kind of impressive to see how competitive they are after how bad they were. Because they were bad last year and the year before. So I'm giving D'Amico Ryans credit. But a lot of it has to do that I think they got it right with their franchise QB.
Yeah, I would also make this comment. I know you guys will be, okay.
There we go, Niners guy, ready for it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is I think that you can look at the Kyle Shanahan tree and say that the guys that are out there right now are pretty successful. D'Amico Ryans having a pretty good season. Robert Saleh having a decent season for losing your franchise quarterback in the first minute of the game. He's done all right. And then obviously McDaniel in Miami. I mean, it's hard to argue that, but I mean, that's three very successful coaches pretty early on after they left San Fran. So, I mean, I'm to whatever credit it is a culture thing. And I think, McDaniels kind of brings his own culture. He's a goofball, man. He is goofy as hell, and it's hilarious. But, yeah, it's, just toot my own Niner horn, but it's all right.
Yeah, I was say, Tyler, you're turning a little yellow over there. Are you seeing that trend?
Yeah. Homer. That was terrible.
That's because I'm the only team that actually has
some
good things to talk about.
Ooh, whoa, easy.
Wow.
Easy.
Yeah, what are you talking about? 3-game losing streak?
Ooh, wow.
We have a quarterback.
Hey, we're winning games without a quarterback.
I'm kind of talking to both of you, but
yeah, whatever. My biggest surprise isn't necessarily like a one-person type thing. It's actually a division, and that's the NFC North. I think every team being above 500, really, I think right now every team would make the playoffs in that division if the playoffs started today. The Browns 5-3, Steelers 5-3,
hold on.
Bengals.
Hold on. NFC, it's the AFC North.
What did I say?
I think you said NFC North.
I think you said AFC.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. No, I did. I think I did say NFC.
Because I'm like, hold on a second. I'm like, every team is not above 500.
No. That's definitely not true because we know the Packers in the NFC North. So.
That's why I was very confused.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I meant the AFC North. The Bengals, Steelers, Ravens, Browns. Everyone's 5-3 except for the Ravens who are 7-2. But really didn't expect it. I expected the Ravens to play well. I did not expect that out of the Steelers. I think their defense is carrying them. But the Browns were also kind of a little bit of a surprise too. But overall, very impressed with that division. It'll be fun to see how it plays out the rest of the year. I'll tell you what, next Thursday it'll be a huge game. The Bengals, Ravens Thursday Night Football.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get out of this dumpster fire of the Panthers Bears.
Oh my God! How miserable.
It's rough.
I'm not even watching.
Yeah, it's
couldn't pick a worse game.
Yeah.
I'm watching Louisville.
Yeah, didn't really expected minimal out of that division, so that's why they're my biggest surprise this year with how successful they've been.
Okay. I think my biggest surprise is I don't know. I mean, I honestly think my biggest surprise, I don't want to make it sound like it's a disappointment too, but I think my biggest surprise is that the Chargers this year.
Yeah.
Because I'm surprised that they're not better than what they are. I think we go back to how many times did we talk about the Chargers coach being on the hot seat, in previous episodes. They're surprising me. I didn't anticipate them to be that bad, especially paying Herbert the kind of money that they did. You have a running back in Eckler. You got Keenan Allen. You got Everett. You have a very good team.
Defense too,
and that's what I'm saying. And you're not doing much. So my biggest surprise is the Chargers this year. So, if you guys don't mind, can I start disappointment?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So disappointment wise, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills.
What?
I think the Buffalo Bills are underperforming. I think that Josh Allen doesn't look like himself. I don't know what it is, if he's trying to do too much, if he's trying to force the ball, if he's trying to... That's my biggest disappointment is the Bills right now. And I know they're not, tanking by any means. But at this point in time, I don't know what the identity is of the Bills, is what team's going to show up. Is the Bills that can put up 38 points against the Dolphins or 40, 50 some points against the Dolphins? Or, the Bills that could maybe put up 13 points, and not be able to run the ball, not be able to pass the ball. And I think it goes back to the run game. If they had a run game to kind of balance out Josh Allen and his killer arm, I think they'd be all right. But not having a run game there, I think is killing them right now. So my biggest disappointment this year is the Buffalo Bills so far.
Tyler, that whole great minds, man. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I had two things listed for this, but I think to kind of tag on to what you're saying is the Buffalo Bills are wasting the prime years of Josh Allen at this point.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah. We kind of even said that about the Chargers too, right?
Yes,
they're wasting prime years of these teams have two Super Bowl talent or Super Bowl, I guess, winning capabilities, and they are wasting it. So I totally agree. Bills are a disappointment. You're 5-4.
Yeah.
At this point, they cannot beat the Bengals.
No, not at all.
Simple as that.
But the Bengals are getting hot at the right time, just like they did their last two seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it did go back to Burrow being healthy. But I want to stay on the disappointments of the year. The other team that I think is super disappointing because I enjoy this guy as a head coach, and I think I'm not surprised by it, but I think the Giants.
Oh, Trent.
Giants are super disappointing, and you know what? I think it goes back to the mismanagement of their offseason. Yeah. They paid the wrong guy. They paid Daniel Jones, and now you're looking at Daniel Jones saying, I get it, ACL, damn. But, Saquon's their team. Like, they are a better football team when Saquon is out there.
Their offensive line, though, is just horrible.
It is.
It's abysmal.
But to see what they did last year compared to what they're doing this year, I am truly disappointed in the Giants and how bad they are, especially offensively with their head coach being an offensive-minded coach.
Yeah.
Trent, I had two things kind of jotted down. That was my first one was Brian Dable's follow-up season after a great one and a very surprising one. But this one, I don't want to – it's disappointing, but I'm not – I can kind of see – like I didn't not expect it, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? It's disappointing because I don't think the Giants are that great of a team in general, and Brian Dable completely overperformed last year. And I thought, wow, if he's that good of a coach and he can do it again, that's very impressive. So that's more of the disappointment for me. But when it comes to looking at their roster and stuff, I'm not surprised, if that makes sense. The other thing that I had jotted down was, Tyler, you kind of mentioned it, but not in this context. But the biggest disappointment for me is just not being able to see what the Jets could be.
I like that. That's a good disappointment.
Yeah, because if all they need is a quarterback, that's seriously all they need. And they even won games. They were 4-3 without a quarterback. So, I just couldn't imagine what Rodgers could do with Wilson, Lazard, his familiar faces there, and then just that defense. That defense is scary. Like,
real quick, just you brought up a key person though that I do want to talk about. Obviously Wilson. When the last game the Jets played, they looked awful.
Yep.
Like, but then the week prior, they looked, wow, it's like, okay, this is kind of good. Like, let's look at, Zach Wilson, who had, at that point in time last week, Zach Wilson had the most fourth quarter comebacks in the league as a quarterback.
Fake.
But at the same time, like, I watched him this past week, and, like, he literally couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Nope.
Now, I also don't think that his receivers helped him, because I feel like, and maybe it was because it was our bet, but I felt like Alan Lazard dropped about 7 footballs that game that hit him square in the chest. And again, I was hyper focused on him, obviously, because that was, one of our, daily recipe picks. But like, I just kept, I'm like, oh yeah, there's Lazard. Oh, no, he dropped it. Oh, there's Lazard. And some of them were tough catches, but I don't know what it was. Like, that game was horrible. Like, they looked terrible compared to, previous week or two. So I really like that, Trey, as your disappointment, because you're right. I mean, what could have been?
Yeah.
So, does he come back, though? You think he comes back?
I think he does.
You think so? I think if they can stay within a hair's reach of the wild card, he totally comes back. I know he's saying 15.
I don't see how it's physically possible.
Well, I don't see how it's physically possible with an offensive line that is a sieve.
Yeah.
Tyler, I know you are a fan of a good conspiracy, but
I know it's the dumbest thing I've
the
seen.
conspiracy is that he never tore his Achilles. I'm just saying. Saying.
We literally watched his calf pop on TV from every single angle.
Well, you know what? If there weren't chemtrails in the sky that night, it might not have happened. Oh, no, I just think I'm kidding, Tyler. Look how mad he is.
Look, is it real?
I'm but dude, to even see him doing what he's doing, just like kind of doing some light dropbacks and throwing, and I mean, I just
light throwing. The dude's throwing 50-yard passes.
Yeah, I think it's stupid if he does try to come back this year. Like, just come back, like when you're 100% in the clear.
But he has maybe a year or two left. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you gamble if you have a chance at the playoffs?
I'm telling you right now, if he does come back this year, every single play, I'm going to be grimacing.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, oh, God.
If this is an Aaron Rodgers that's 25, 26, 27 years old, I say no way. But this is an Aaron Rodgers that has maybe a year or two, maybe 3 at the most, left in his NFL career. I think he's saying, screw it. I want to go win football games. I want to go play games. And I think if he's medically cleared to go play, I think he plays. I think that's just his personality. I don't think he sits back and is like, I think he goes out and plays.
Then whoever did his surgery with this new innovative procedure, every single guy better be going to the same dude. Like, I hope Kirk Cousins got his same surgery.
Rodgers talked to Cousins. He did say he talked to Cousins and gave him information and stuff. I don't know if Cousins went through with it, because Cousins, I feel like, is not walking. Aaron Rodgers was jogging after 3 days. I'm just kidding, but seriously. So
well, Kirk had some errands to run. Cole's cash was expiring.
Cole's cash. Kirk's Cole's cash.
Well, what do you guys say you guys want to get into this week's picks for the NFL?
Let's get into some picks. Hey, real quick before we do picks, we will be putting an updated board of playoffs, of Super Bowl picks for the NFL. We'll be putting that on our website. We'll also put it out on X. I'm just going to start calling it X. I'm not calling it the old name anymore. It is what it is now. We got to post it on X. I know some people are like, formally, but no, I'm not doing it anymore. It's X. All right, we will post it on our X account at Beer Bigger Bet. No S. Follow us. All right, let's get into some picks this week, boys.
Well, I have a spread that I like. I have a money line that I like, and I have an over that I like.
So
I'm a
are
big fan of
these
spreads.
are these your best bets?
Yes, these would be three that I'd feel comfortable wagering, and I will be wagering. I will just say a heads up: the overs are almost like they're like 80 something and 50 this year, or some
Overs
crazy.
are 80 and 50.
I think it's the unders trend.
Yeah, I think
I'm sorry.
unders.
Unders. You're right.
Yeah.
Unders are like 80 something and 50.
Yeah.
It's outrageous. But I am on an over. So my best bets, and I already know the first one that I'm gonna say you're gonna hate. I actually like the Ravens -6.5 versus the Browns.
Okay.
I know you would grimace there.
I didn't even try it. It just happened.
Yeah, well, it's going to happen.
Okay.
I like the Lions money line versus the Chargers. Right now, the Lions are -3. I'm not worried about the Lions playing on the road with the Chargers because, as we all know, the Chargers they don't really have a home field. Kind of like the Rams, kind of like the Raiders at this point in the year. We just teams that move don't have home field advantage.
Hold on. Can I make one Chargers comment real quick? Actually, it's not related to the Chargers, but I don't know if any of you guys watch Manningcast, but Schwarzenegger was on.
I turned the channel when he was on, but go ahead.
But I'm saying, like, what a dumb thing to like with a donkey. Like, that was so stupid.
I didn't see what happened. I refuse to listen.
Anybody watch social media stuff? It's feeding a donkey on TV. Like, it was just dumb. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So I got Lions money line versus the Chargers. You can get them for -155 right now in books. I like that because I think Chargers are terrible at defending the run. The Lions want to run. So that's my thought going into that. Okay. And then I actually love the Commanders and Seahawks over 44.5 points in that game. I think it could end up turning into a shootout.
Could. Seattle only scored 3 points last week.
What's that?
Seattle only scored 3 points last week.
Well, they also played the absolute best defense in all of football right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Ravens. They have the best defense.
That's debatable.
It's up there with their Super Bowl year when Ray Lewis and Syracuse and all those guys. But I do want to just give one quick little mention here to the reason I said about them scoring points is I think, one, the Redskins defense doesn't impress me. Two, Sam Howell has been pretty impressive. Matter of fact, he's one of the more impressive quarterbacks from the 2022 draft class. More completions right now in the NFL, more than any other quarterback. More passing yards other than Tua at this point. More passing touchdowns, 14 this season than Kenny Pickett has in his entire career. And they were both drafted the same year. So that 22 draft class, Sam Howell, although was a fifth rounder, he's actually putting up some pretty damn good numbers. And he's doing it behind an offensive line that's pretty abysmal, as you guys were saying earlier.
Abysmal.
Abysmal. That's right. 44 sacks they've given up. So he's putting up good numbers, even though their team sucks, and I think they're going to continue to suck until they get rid of Ron Rivera. But yeah, so that's those are my NFL picks. I got, like I said, Ravens -6.5, Lions money line, and then I got Seahawks Commanders over 44.5.
All right. Okay. Trey, you want to go? Or you want me to go?
It's up to you. You go ahead.
All right. So I'm looking at a couple ones here. The one I want to pick, but I know it would go against my own moral values of things is I want to pick the Colts money line against the Patriots. I'm not going to. I'm going to not bet that game at all because it's overseas. And any overseas game, whatever you expect to happen will not happen. For whatever reason, whatever you think is going to happen, think the opposite is going to occur.
Yeah, it's never smart to bet those games.
No, so I do. I mean, again, if this was in the United States, I'm totally on the Colts. That being said, I am looking at Jacksonville and the Niners. I'm going with the under here. It's under 45. I feel like San Fran, sure, they performed very early with, some high-scoring games. They have not done that. I know they're getting Debo back this week, which could be an X factor. But I'm also looking at the fact that Jacksonville usually doesn't really score or know how to score a touchdown. So I'm going under 45 with the San Fran-Jacksonville game. Hopefully that's in favor of my team. I'm going to go with the other game. This is going to be a spread for the underdog. This guy actually could... you know what? I should have made this my surprise as opposed to the Chargers. The Josh Dobbs effect. I'm going the Vikings +3 this week against the Saints. In Minnesota, I think Josh Dobbs now has another week. Dude can play. I was very surprised to kind of see the Cardinals deal him. I understand why, because I think Kyler Murray plays this week. And then, if you guys don't mind, as opposed to one thing I want to point out is the Cowboys are -17 against the Giants, which is huge.
Outrageous.
Huge.
Outrageous.
Like, that's so disrespectful to the Giants, like a slap in the face. But the question I have here...
Tyler, they got Mr. Jimmy Johns himself, DeVito, playing quarterback, right?
I know. But I'm saying you also could run into...
Jimmy Johns.
You could also run into...
That's Danny DeVito, sorry.
I always want to call him David.
It's Jersey Mike's. It's Jersey Mike's.
Damn, what did I call it?
Jimmy Johns.
Jimmy Johns.
Jimmy Johns. Oh, that's a big mistake there.
Yeah. But you could also run into his alter ego, Jack Prescott, who sometimes shows up and throws a lot of interceptions and doesn't remember how to throw a football. So that could happen.
Never heard of that in my life. Who the hell says that?
I did. I just made it up.
Oh, what are we talking about?
It's kind of like they jokingly call Carson Wentz. They call him Carl Wentz, who's now a Ram.
Yeah,
his alter ego.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So anyway, the other one, and this is more of a question because I want either talk me out of it or talk me into it here. The Raiders against the Jets are +1, -108, and they're -102 money line. Why should I not take that?
So Tyler, I'll tell you,
with their new coach and the way Zach Wilson played, why should I not take the Raiders on this?
Tyler, you absolutely should take the Raiders.
Money line?
No, take their points. But
it's +1.
What? Yeah, that's funny. So I'm going to lead this leads me into my best bets. I took spreads pretty early, so mine are a little different, but I'll give you the ones I got. And I guess I'll go over the ones what they are now. But I got the Raiders +3 at the beginning of the week against the Jets. So that's one of my best bets of the week for sure. Watching the line drop to +1 has actually got me a little excited.
Well, and hey, we always do say early spreads matter.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of these did move in my favor, which I like. So you absolutely should bet the Raiders at home against the Jets. The only thing I'm a little worried about is the Raiders just being able to move the ball. I know, like, the Jets have, like Trent said, the Raiders don't really have a home field advantage, so I know they're at home. But still, that defense for the Jets is legitimate. I hope they just kind of catch them off guard. Yeah. I hope the Jets are just kind of I hope, like, these last couple weeks just took the wind out of their sails, and they just kind of plummet. You know what I mean?
Who, the Jets?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, that way I can win my bet. My +3 bet, but and honestly, I don't.
Either you're like going against me with my. I need 10 wins for the Jets. You're jumping on Trent's bandwagon here against me. Wow,
I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't want to see Rodgers come back this year.
I don't know.
Like, I hope they're out of contention where he got his hands not played and he does something that he shouldn't do. I want to see him play next year full healthy. You know what I mean? Get a good off season in, work with your guys some more, and then just play next year. But yeah, Raiders +3 is one of my bets. Next bet is Trent bet on this game, but for a different reason. I like the Seahawks -6.5. I think they bounce back. I don't think the Commanders. I think, like I said, they're a fraud. I think I said that earlier in the year. And I really like what Pete Carroll is doing with the team that he has, to be honest with you. Got some good defensive weapons. He's using his wide out core great. Kenneth Walker's, I think, emerging running back in the league. And I think they got to bounce back from a tough week last week. So I like the Seahawks -6.5.
Hate that pick.
Well, you can hate it all you want.
I hate Seattle, so.
The other game I like is, and again, this spread has changed. It's at 1 now.
Okay.
But I like the Titans +3 at the Bucks.
So you had them +3. They're +1 as well.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Dude,
I
Will
think
Levis, starting quarterback.
Yeah, I think he can be the real deal. He looks confident. All he needs is a little bit more like touch and finesse on his balls.
Who's gonna take care of that for him? Not me.
Yo, there is no coming back from that dude. Oh man. I cannot wait to go back and listen to that. Because, and if anybody could see us, I wish we were videoing this, because your face, you were so serious, and you actually like made the little like ball motion.
Little finesse fingers.
Would you say touch and finesse on his balls? Oh man, that was good.
We're gonna move on from that. My last best bet is the Bengals -6.5 against the Texans.
Oh man, I'm sorry. That was so great. Because you didn't even just say his ball, you said his balls. Alright, I'm sorry. What was that? Texans?
Yeah, no, Bengals -6.5 against the Texans. I know we were talking about the Texans and stuff, but I think the Bengals are on a heater. I think they're on a different level than most teams in the league, so I'm gonna take them less than a touchdown spread. So.
All right.
Oh man. Whew, man.
That went south.
That was awesome. Like, that was so great. Because it was such an in-depth analysis. Oh, and he was so serious about it. Oh my gosh.
Once I said it, I looked at you guys.
Dude, oh man, I heard it instantly.
It was like you saw a ghost.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, man. Oh man, all right. Trent, you said you got a B teaser on this, don't you?
I do have one this week. I do.
Right, let's get that B teaser, and Bly, now now you know what a B teaser is. So
yeah.
I explained teaser to him this week, so that way he understands the gambling aspect of it. So we're good now. All right, go ahead. Oh man.
All right, here we go. So I have a 4-leg teaser this week. I'm getting an extra 6.5.
Okay.
All right. So I have the Niners at +3.5. I have the Buccaneers at +5. I have the Texans +13, and I have the Lions +3.5.
Okay. What's that come out to odds wise?
+200.
That's not bad.
Okay.
With a +6.5, you said teaser.
Yep.
I like that. Trey, do you have any teasers?
I didn't make one yet, but I can kind of come up with one on the fly. So I'll do a 4-leg teaser.
All right.
I won't know the odds of it because I'm just kind of coming up with it now. But I want to go Browns. I'll make this a 6.5 point teaser. Browns +13.
Okay.
I'll do, I'll do Cardinals +8.5. I will do.
Is Kyler Murray back this week? For sure.
He is.
Okay.
I think so. I'm gonna do Chargers +9.5.
Okay.
And then my last leg, man, this is tough. Yeah, last leg, I'm gonna go Saints +3.5.
Okay. All right, I don't have a teaser ready, so I'm not going to throw anything out there yet, but I'll have one for Sunday's games. But all right, let's switch gears a little bit here. All right, we do have some college football to talk about. Like I said, we'll get into some predictions here. We'll look at where we were at with our college playoff and where we're going if things have changed. Obviously, the season's progressed a lot here with what's going on with some different teams, some big losses, some surprising losses. I'm pretty sure I'm down to at least 2 certain from my first playoff that are still okay, but I don't know. You guys are, whew.
Mine are awful.
Dude, you guys are both down to like 1.
Who Who were my four again? Refresh me.
All right, so I had Georgia, Texas, Clemson, Ohio State. I'd say Georgia and Ohio State are still kind of in contention. Trent, you had Georgia, Texas, USC, Penn State.
Those are all in contention.
What?
Penn State?
USC?
Oh, USC, no.
I have 3 of 4 that are still in contention.
I'd say Texas needs some help, and Penn State needs a lot of help.
Texas has one loss to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
And they have a win. And they have a win on the road over Alabama.
Okay, then I have 3 teams too because I had Texas.
All right, yeah.
Okay,
I'll agree with that, yeah.
We're not disagreeing.
All right, fine.
Sorry, look at you sitting on your high horse, and now you're like, well, wait. Oh, I have 3 too.
Now, Trey, actually, you would definitely have 3 too.
Yeah.
So, Trey, you had Georgia, Texas, USC, and Michigan.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure what I was looking at in terms of 1, but...
Boy, did USC fool us.
Okay, so let's do our second chance playoff.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do a second chance playoff here. I know there's a lot of different predictions and stuff that you could actually mess with and see like who could possibly get in. I don't know if ESPN has that tool or not, but yeah, let's go second chancers here. We'll go second chancers. We'll talk about a couple of games this upcoming week. We'll give some bets, all right, and then I don't know. There's a big UFC fight this weekend, isn't there?
It was going to be bigger.
So maybe we'll make our main pick on that here to kind of take it out on the main event. So, all right, so Trey, you want to start us off here with your 4 playoff teams?
Yes, I would. So
again, we're not going in order. Like we just give our 4.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So one of them is a bit of a dark horse, but I feel like you got to do that in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Because crazy things happen. Upsets happen. The conference championships can throw a wrench in the playoffs and stuff. So one of them's a little bit odd, but the other ones I think are pretty solid picks. I'm going to go Florida State as the first team in there. I do think that, once again, way off on my preseason prediction on them and how they weren't going to be legitimate or anything.
That all came down to, I feel like it came down to week 1. The LSU game showed us a lot.
I completely agree with that, which is crazy because I think if they play again, that's might be a different outcome.
I think it'd be a boatload of points.
We can't, if fans' butts, you know what I mean? Can't think back on it. But, I think Florida State's in there. Second team, Michigan. I hate to say it. I think they beat Penn State this weekend. I don't think Ohio State has the, weapons. I know they have Marvin Harrison, but I really think that's all they got.
Yeah.
I think Michigan kind of beats them, too, and stays in the playoff.
Okay.
Last 2 are a little bit bold predictions, I guess you could say, but third team would be Oregon. Ooh. I think they play Washington again in the Pac-12 championship.
It's a lot of people.
I think they take it to them this time, and I think that's what puts them over the hump to get in the playoff. Last team, and really them making the playoff all comes down to this week. They have to win this week, and that is Ole Miss.
Cool. What are they ranked now, Trey?
I think they're 10th or 11th.
Okay. So you're saying that they would make it over Alabama, Texas. Yep. Okay.
And Georgia.
Georgia. Wow. Yeah. You don't even say Georgia.
Well, Georgia, they would beat Georgia this week.
Okay. That is going to be a tough week for Georgia.
Yeah.
And Georgia, I think Georgia plays Tennessee next week.
Yep.
So, again, as a Tennessee fan, I'm not sold on that, but I don't know. I still say that Georgia has a weak-ass schedule.
I think LSU is going to play Ruiner
in
the SEC, and I think Ole Miss slides by, gets away with it, beats Georgia, has a quality win, just has is the one-loss SEC team in the playoff. That's what I think.
All right. Trent, you got him?
Yeah, I'll start out with the shoe-in. I'll go Georgia. Georgia's definitely making it.
Okay.
I just don't think anybody in the SEC can beat them. Don't get me wrong. I like Ole Miss with the points this week, but I don't think Ole Miss beats them. the other shoe-in my opinion, is going to be Michigan. I know preseason-wise, I really thought Penn State could do it. I thought they could beat Michigan at Penn State. Well, one, it's a noon game. Maybe if it was a night game and it was a whiteout, Penn State would have a chance. I hate that TV companies or TV channels can dictate what time these games are for home teams.
Yeah.
But Penn State just hasn't shown to have the offense or the explosiveness offensively to hang with them. And I think Penn State's coaches need to stop making little stupid videos about science and stealing. I think that was pretty bad on the defense coordinator's spot today that he released that. You're just going to poke the bear. So I got Georgia, Michigan. I'm not going to lie. This is really tough because, Trey, I really can't wait to see that rematch of what you just stated with Washington and Oregon.
Best game of the season.
Yeah, so far it's easily been the best game of the season. I like what's going on in Washington, and I'm gonna stick with Washington now, getting in, beating Oregon again in the championship. So comes to my fourth, and Trey, I honestly right now it's kind of frustrating because at this point in the rankings, I would put Oregon and Washington right now ahead of Florida State, even though they're undefeated.
No.
What have they done? I would put Oregon.
They beat LSU.
And how is that LSU win really looking at this point?
Pretty good, I think.
Why? What's LSU ranked?
I mean, they have one of the best offenses in the league.
And one of the
SEC, one of the hardest schedules, though.
One of the worst defenses, though. Like they're abysmal. That's how bad they are. Okay. Anyway, so then this is where it gets really, really tough because if it gets down to it, basically what I have is Michigan beats Penn State, Michigan then beats Ohio State, Michigan wins the Big Ten championship, and now you have an Ohio State team who they will get in with one loss if they hang with Michigan. That's going to be the key. Ohio State gets in if they hang, but if they get just completely throttled by Michigan, then I believe that Texas sneaks in.
All
Okay.
right. Ty didn't like that. Ty didn't like the Texas pick.
So I'm gonna kind of say right now I'm gonna go because I think Michigan is just gonna. I think they're gonna stay in their locker room and they're gonna ignore all the crap that's being stated because I think it's crap at this point, especially with the word that it potentially originated from Ohio State. Like, there's some shady things that are starting to come out about everything now.
About all the teams.
About all teams. So I'm going to go Michigan, Georgia, Washington, and I'm going to go Texas.
Okay. Whew, man.
So really, Trent, you switched Washington for USC.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. No, Trey, I had Penn State in there. Sorry.
Okay.
So I'm switching Michigan in for Penn State.
Okay.
I mean, to get Michigan at 4.5 right now, I know we're not talking lines yet, but geez. Jump on it.
All right. But you're just a Penn State hater, too. So.
I'm not a believer in them. I'm not going to say I hate them because I'm going to cheer for them, but I'm not a believer. They haven't. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Make me a believer this week. Do it. Make the whole entire sports world happy, James Franklin. You could go from being the one guy that they talk crap about to being the absolute hero if you win a home game versus a top 10 team.
Yeah.
You can
do it. Do it then.
So, all right. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So I'm keeping two of my teams here. Mine definitely looks a little bit different than you guys. I'm gonna go Georgia. Wait, hang on, Trent. You said Georgia, Michigan. I forgot the
Washington,
Georgia,
Washington,
Michigan,
and Texas.
Washington, and Texas. That's right. Okay. I'm gonna go Georgia. I think that Ohio State, while they may not look like the Ohio State of the past, still wins out. I'm going to go with Washington winning the Pac-12. And I am going to go with, just based on what I listen to, read, and see, I'm going to go Alabama. A possible two-loss Alabama in the SEC championship.
2 loss.
Meaning their second loss would come against Georgia in the SEC championship.
Okay.
And I could still see them, dude. I'm telling you, they're pushing so hard to get Alabama in there. And they have, Alabama has, let's be honest, they've lost to Texas. I get it. But they have not looked like the Alabama, dominance of the past. And they refuse to move them out of the top 10. Regardless. So I truly think that they're going to somehow Alabama will sneak in. So Georgia.
What if it comes down to 1 loss and 1 loss? What if Bama, because Bama has 1 loss right now, correct?
Correct.
So what do you guys think? I know this could just keep us spinning here, but I just want to hear your quick take. If Bama does beat Georgia in the SEC championship, let's say Texas wins the Big 12 championship, you're telling me, are you gonna take a head-to-head matchup, or are you gonna take the Bama win over Georgia as more convincing to get them in? Do you see what I'm saying?
So you're saying Texas wins the Big 12, Bama beats Georgia.
Does that
loss because and that's an interesting look, because then you have Texas beat Alabama.
It's got to be Texas over Bama.
Even if they beat Georgia?
Yeah, what's it matter? They'd all have 1 loss, and in the head-to-head, Texas beat Alabama.
So then is Georgia out then?
Yes, Georgia has the worst schedule of anyone. They have no quality wins.
There's no way in hell that they take a 1-loss Georgia out of the playoff. There's no way.
That would mean, let's just put it this way, that would mean no SEC teams in it.
Well, no,
and there's
Alabama's
no way
in.
No, I'm saying no Bama in it. I'm saying what if chalk holds? So let's say Florida State wins out.
Okay.
Okay. Let's say Michigan wins out. Right?
Okay.
Let's say Washington wins out. So you've got 3 undefeated teams, which is possible, right?
Which should be
correct?
a shoe-in.
Which those 3 should be all in.
Right.
But now you get to the scenario where Texas wins out. Okay. Now you have
Bama wins out.
Bama wins out.
And wins
Georgia,
the SEC championship?
Well, that would mean wins out. Yeah. So now you have the 3 undefeated teams, but then you have a Georgia, a Texas, and a Bama, all with 1 loss, with Texas having a head-to-head win over Bama, but Bama beating the Georgia Bulldogs.
So then, Trent, you know what else you still have there?
Strength of schedule.
No, you have Ohio State with 1 loss and a win over Notre Dame and a win over Penn State at home.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, man.
So you put Ohio
It
State
could
in.
be. What's that?
Then you'd put Ohio State in.
You would almost have to.
Yeah,
they
because
have more quality wins.
I think Georgia's strength of schedule will hurt them. Although playing a Missouri that came out of nowhere to be ranked number 12 last, all right.
Don't hate on it too much.
I'm not hating on it at all, but but what I'm saying is when you looked at Georgia's schedule in the beginning of the year, the only team that they played that was going to be competitive was going to be Tennessee.
Yes.
And possibly an Ole Miss, right?
I was gonna say. Yeah.
But that was it. And now all of a sudden, some of these other teams are now ranked pretty high. Now it's oh. So Georgia's schedule is still garbage to me. if you get down to a Georgia, Ohio State, and Alabama and a Texas all with one loss, I'm gonna say that you're probably gonna put Ohio State in.
You have to.
I'm gonna say Ohio State. I'm gonna say Ohio State or Alabama.
I would say Ohio State or Texas.
I would say Ohio State or Texas.
But Alabama's schedule is so much tougher than Texas.
Yeah, but Tyler, it's head to head, man.
But that doesn't matter as much.
They beat them in Alabama.
Listen,
I'm
we're
just
not
telling
going
you
to agree.
But listen, you also have to understand it's an SEC school versus a Big 12 school. They're not going to put the Big 12 guy in there. All right, it's almost going to be like a punch in the mouth and saying, "Hey, good thing you're coming to the SEC next year, asshole." Yeah. So you're going to put Alabama in there. They're not going to put Texas in there as a Big 12 team. Next year, sure. Yes.
No.
But it's going to be it's going to be oh my gosh, I'm telling you, that's just how it is.
I hope it comes down to that because that's going to be pretty freaking interesting if that's what the situation is.
I agree. But this is also why 4 teams is bullshit. That's also why 4 teams is bullshit. And I really truly think that I understand 12 teams is better. But I still truly think that you need to do the same thing that the FCS does. Is you need to have a tournament. There has to be a tournament. It can't just be, hey, we pick this team, we pick this team, we pick this team. There has to be a tournament.
You know what, though?
FCS does it great.
When it gets to 12 teams, it's going to be more like that, Tyler, because
it will be.
One loss won't keep you out of the playoffs. It's not like, which one-loss team is going to make it, because they'll all make it. The good ones, at least.
I know.
And that, guys, is just, once again, confirming what I think we all believe, which is why college basketball is the best. Michigan State lost their first game of the season. Guess what?
Yeah.
They still have a chance to make the national championship.
Yeah. No, I know.
Simple as that. So it's like, in college football, if that's a top team losing to, which, I mean, once again, that's very rare that it happens. I think that happened to Michigan when they lost to App State, but it's different. It's just. So it's frustrating about college football.
Hey, real quick side note: we missed. What was your over, Trent?
Yeah, by half a point. I know.
Half a point, the hook, baby.
Freaking hook,
yep.
Man.
Yep, I was hoping for overtime, but
2-1.
So what do you guys say we get into our college football weekly picks here?
Yeah, a couple picks here because there's some big games, man. Tennessee, Missouri's nice.
Huge.
Michigan, Penn State's nice.
Yep.
You got Utah, Washington, which I'm thrilled to watch that game. Ole Miss, Georgia. It's gonna be, man. This is gonna be a Saturday.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
doggy.
Well, who wants to start? You guys want to just rattle them off quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Trent, go ahead and start us off.
Okay. Yeah. One. I forgot to mention this as we transitioned into college football. I just want to truly, in the season of being thankful, I am thankful that we have Maction football on Tuesdays and Wednesdays of the week. So just want to give a shout out to Maction. However, my picks this week, I am taking Michigan -4.5 at Penn State. You can get a nice 50% boost on that game, whatever you want to wager at DraftKings. I like Kansas, which couldn't believe they were dogs last week. 3-point dogs, I think it was. But Kansas -3.5 versus Texas Tech. I am liking the rivalry game here of Miami +14 at Florida State.
I like that.
Florida State has been shown to kind of let teams hang.
Watch that be Florida State's downfall game, though, too.
Yes.
This could be their downfall game.
Yep. I like Washington -8.5 versus Utah. I just don't think Utah has enough offensive firepower to hang with Washington's offense.
What do you think of that team total of 50?
I think Washington will score. I don't think Utah has the ability to score.
Didn't Utah put up 55 the other day?
Against who?
I think it might have been Arizona State.
No, it's actually, I think it was Oregon that did it. Oregon did that versus Utah.
No.
So I know they killed Utah. But the last one, and I'm not saying I'm having a hard time taking this, even though I'm a believer in the favorite in this game. But USC being given 15.5 points at Oregon this week, like that. I'm gonna say this. I'm more so listing that last one as one that just like it blows my mind, and I think that's a very, very unique line out there. So,
Stat guys ran it for me, Trent, and Utah scored 55-3 against Arizona State last week.
okay, well, I don't think, Tyler, I'm gonna go to bat for you and saying don't hate on Washington's defense. I think
No.
Washington beats them.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the total team.
Yep. So I got Michigan -4.5 Penn State, Kansas -3.5 versus Texas Tech, Miami +14 at Florida State, Washington -8.5 versus Utah, and then I'm just going to keep an eye on USC +15.5 at Oregon, and I might dabble with that late in the day.
Okay. I like it. Trey, you got picks?
I do. First and foremost, I'm going to go with Ole Miss +10.5 against Georgia. I said, I think that Ole Miss makes the playoff. It's my prediction, and they got to win this game in order to do it. So
What do you have, Trey?
10.5.
They're 11 on DraftKings.
Even better. Love it.
Yep.
Other game I like is, don't get me wrong, I think that they're 9-0 on the over. But I'm going to take the law of averages here. I'm going to go under 66.5 points LSU, Florida.
Why would you do that?
I just got a
Don't
feeling.
pick, dude. Unders against LSU is terrible.
I just like it. I think it's going to be a 40-point game. And it's going to be like 27-13.
Okay.
Other game I like, this is a bit of a giant spread, but I like UCLA -17 at Arizona State. And I think that was it. I think that's all I got. Just to be contrarian to Trent, I'm going to go Penn State +4.5.
Woo. Okay. Interesting. All right. Couple picks I have. Kind of all over the place with this, but I'm going to go Kansas -3.5 at Texas Tech. Sorry, in Kansas, but playing Texas Tech. I am going to go Maryland money line against Nebraska -122. I like the. I like Michigan -4.5 against Penn State. I don't think Penn State has enough offense.
Do you guys want to make a beer bet?
Yeah, I would actually. This will be the first time I'm actually with somebody else.
Yep, let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, Michigan. What do we have? Michigan money line, Ty?
Yeah, I think so. Money line bet.
No.
I'll tell you what. Give
4.5.
us.
All right.
Oh, we'll take Michigan -3. We like that. Nah.
Oh.
How about okay? Hey, give us
Easy.
3.5.
No, it's 4.5.
All right,
That's
fine.
what the line is. That's what we're doing it at.
Todd, yeah, let's take it.
All right.
Take it.
I'm taking. Trent, I do like. Man, I don't know about that Miami one. Makes me nervous. I don't know. I like Washington. I like Washington's team total. I have an over 29.5 at -125 for Washington. Stay away from the 30s with them in this game because I feel like Utah's defense can show up. I am also not opposed to taking over 50, but for the full game. I think I
I
had.
thought you meant the team total.
No. Hold on, I had one more pick here. And I like the Ole Miss +11 against Georgia. So that's where I'm at. Oh, wait, one more. Sorry. I don't like that. That's it. All
I
right.
do have one more that I wanted to add on, just really quickly, and that's Rutgers money line against Iowa.
That's that. Trey, that was the one game I was really looking at. The team total's 28, or the total points is 28.
That is absurd.
Bonkers. And you know it's gonna, and the under's gonna hit. Watch. I don't know. There's. Can I make one comment though, real quick?
I guess
that I don't think we haven't really like brought back up with stuff, and that's West Virginia. In the beginning of the season, they were picked to finish last in the Big 12, and I was like one of the few people that was like, I think West Virginia does all right. And I have my research even on here, like I can pull it back up and we can run the tapes. West Virginia is 6-3 this year. So just putting that out there, because guess what? Oklahoma is 7-2 in the Big 12. Just saying. So that was the other game I was looking at, was West Virginia. I think they're plus 14 right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
It just scares me against Oklahoma. No, I lied. They're plus 12.5 against Georgia or Oklahoma, and Oklahoma I feel like could come out and run the score up pretty quickly. But that would be a game I'd probably take the over 58. So, yeah, that's college football, boys.
Heck yeah.
I like it. I like
all the picks we got, except for your guys' Michigan.
Well, hey,
can't
can I
all here.
bring up something real quick? And I kind of want to. I know we're not doing anything college basketball like crazy, right?
Yet.
But just because we're letting teams kind of feel their way out here and there. We've dabbled. We put a couple picks out already, but we're definitely all keeping an eye on early games and small conference play, or I should say, small conference teams. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. That's the key to having success long term in college basketball.
Yeah,
but
small teams.
Let's at least acknowledge the JMU upset versus Michigan State.
Oh heck yeah!
And also they scored 5 points tonight in 3.8 seconds to force overtime versus Kent State and get a win in double overtime.
JMU.
So that's a team to just keep an eye out. JMU athletics in general.
I was just gonna say JMU football too, man.
Yeah, undefeated. They're on their second appeal to become bowl eligible this year. The NCAA is listening this week again, which I think is a total bullcrap rule that because they transitioned up, they're not going to let them be bowl eligible. Like, why are you penalizing them?
Yeah.
But, and then I just want to throw this. I know, Ty, you said a little bit about UFC potentially here, but okay, have you guys been tracking at all the entire WNBA Las Vegas Aces versus a high school boys state champion team? Have you seen this at all?
I've heard about it.
So, a sports book just picked up this offer because I actually believe there's an individual on social media named Clay Travis who initially made this offer.
Right.
But now I don't know if it's Bet360 or whatnot, but a sports book actually picked up the offer to it's BetOnline_AG. They offered $1 million to the WNBA's Las Vegas Aces if they can beat a high school boys state champion of this individual Clay Travis's choosing. The WNBA team would not have to put any of their own money up. They just get to win and get the $1 million. However, the flip side is the boys high school team would also get $1 million if they win. So I don't know. I don't know. Is this too spicy to talk about on here? But
no,
if you take one of the top high school state champion teams from some of these states, take IMG.
Yeah.
Yes, seriously.
Just take them. And I don't know. I think they have a chance, guys. I don't know. It's just my opinion.
I would tune in.
I would watch
I'd tune in to see because it's competition.
It's kind of like these Logan and Jake Paul fights. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Well, now I would worry about that too. Is how much of it's set up.
Well, it doesn't matter like for any of it, but like it would be very. I think it's a very interesting offer. But
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Let's do our one UFC fight pick. You guys are gonna have to help me out with this guy's name.
Yuri Prochak.
That's how you say it, Prochak.
Yep.
Okay. So we got Prochak and Pereira here. Who we got? Main event, light heavyweight championship.
Oh man, so my heart wants to say Yuri because watching him fight, man, it is fucking entertaining. Sorry, explicit. But no, I watching him against Glover Teixeira the other year before he hurt his shoulder was one of the best fights of the year, I thought, and I was excited to see him go on a title defense, fighting more bigger name guys. Unfortunately, he injured his shoulder, his rotator cuff or something, and had to take a little bit over a year off. But Pereira's just got that deadly left hook that can knock anyone out in a split second. So
Yeah.
if Yuri can kind of evade that and play to his style rather than stand toe to toe with Alex, then I think he can pull it off. But part of me thinks he's going to get caught with one, and he just gets.
It's going to be one of those fights where it's totally different styles.
Right.
Pereira's going to have to sit there and prepare for just insane bullshit.
Yeah.
Literally insane bullshit. Now, here's what I will say though is that Pereira looks so much better fighting light heavyweight though.
Oh yeah.
Now, we also have to remember too is this Yuri guy, right? He never actually lost his title. He vacated
gave it up.
He vacated it, because what'd you say? It was injury, right?
Yeah, it was a shoulder.
Yeah, so he vacated the belt, so he never lost it. So it is going to be interesting to see, how he comes back. Is he able to perform at the level that he was at? Because he is nuts. He's literally nuts. But yeah, that Pereira punch, man. I don't know. I'll be interested to see. So I'm gonna go with Pereira. That's my pick. Trey, who'd you say you're going with?
I think Pereira wins by knockout.
Pereira, okay.
TKO, yeah.
Trent?
I'm actually going to. I'm gonna stay away from who wins. I'm gonna go rounds here. I like this fight to go over 1.5 rounds.
Is that what it is? 1.5.
Wow.
For a championship fight?
Yes.
What are the odds on that?
Right now it's about -170, so they're not great juice, but
That's better juice than I thought.
yeah.
1.5 rounds. So it has to go 2 rounds.
Yes.
Wow.
If it goes 2 rounds, yep.
No, not even 2 rounds. It just has to go over 1:30.
Yes.
Or no,
You're
I'm
right.
sorry. It has to go past 2 minutes 30 seconds into the second round.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. So that's
Take
my.
that. Because I'll tell you what, if you can take that and find some other guarantee with a parlay, you might be able to get plus 100 some odds.
Actually, it's right now. If you take over 1.5 on FanDuel, it's -152.
Wow.
Dang.
Oh, there's your bet. There's your bet, boys.
You know what though? He hasn't fought in over a year, and Pereira is lethal.
But don't you think that's going to make him be a little bit more
Cautious.
calculated? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I agree.
But -152 over 1.5 rounds.
I like it. Good pick.
Thank you.
All right. Well, anything else, boys?
No, feels good to be back.
It's great to be back.
Good to be back, and I'm looking forward to the college basketball season settling in, so we can start discussing that. Man, oh man.
A
I
big time game on a Friday night at 7. Number 2 Duke versus number 12 Arizona tomorrow.
Ooh.
You said Duke,
Yep.
Arizona tomorrow?
Yep.
It's pretty
Like
good
that.
because you also got Oakland and Illinois tomorrow night, too.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. Austin P plays. Queens University plays. Bellarmine. Oral Roberts.
Man, those are some go-tos for us.
Yeah,
Those are the money makers, baby.
there it is.
Mhm.
Keep an eye out. So, hey, appreciate you guys. We will be back next week, next Friday. Hey, we're getting close to Thanksgiving here, boys.
That's right.
So
Gobble gobble.
we will have a Thanksgiving episode. So that's what we're looking forward to. But hey, enjoy your weekend. Appreciate you.
Take it easy, fellas.
See you.